Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Good Game Podcast. I am your lovely host, A1K, and this is August 13th, 2024. It is episode 7 of the Good Game Podcast. Don't be afraid. If I do miss a day to post the episode, it will be posted sometime during that week. So I will still be coming at you guys with 3 episodes a week, no matter what. So this is the Tuesday episode to make up for Monday, and we got a lot to get into. But before I get into it, let me ask a favor real quick. If you haven't already, hit that like button. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and make sure you share the video with a friend. Also, if you're listening to us on Spotify, follow us on Spotify at The Good Game Podcast. A lot of good episodes coming to you guys. Yes, that's right, 3 times a week. So make sure you hit that notification bell so you get notified every time we drop a new episode, and you could be part of the Good Game Podcast. Don't miss any of this good game. It's a lot of good games we're going to be discussing, a lot of sports and entertainment related topics we're going to get into today. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. Our first topic of the day. So the Olympics just ended last weekend, and it was an amazing 2024 Summer Olympics. I want to give a big kudos to all the athletes and all the entertainers that showed up in Paris and really made this year's Summer Olympics one for the record book. So it was definitely a magnificent experience and just a fun time to be a fan and just sit back, relax, and watch all these phenomenal athletes compete at the highest level for their gold, silver, and bronze medals respectively. So the U.S. women's basketball team held off France on Sunday to win gold in the final event of the Paris Olympics, and that hardware was needed for the Americans to tie China for the most gold medals with 40. So the United States was able to accumulate the most gold medals in this Olympic competition. So shout out to all the athletes from America. The United States definitely showed up this Olympics, capturing the most gold medals. The U.S. easily won the total medal count with 126, aside from the 40 gold. The Americans won 42 silver and 44 bronze medals. The U.S. lost a bronze medal Sunday when the International Olympic Committee said it was reallocating the bronze given to Jordan Chiles in the women's floor final to Romanian Ana Barbosu. U.S. Olympic officials are appealing. Now, whether or not Jordan Chiles should deserve the bronze medal or not, I'm not here to say or make a claim either way. I think that it would be okay to leave that up to the officials and whoever is appealing this case. But you never like to see athletes feel like they didn't earn what they deserved, especially at this level in the Olympic competition. So if she was deserving of the bronze medal, which a lot of people claim due to her performance, that she definitely should be the one to hold the bronze medal, then I think it would only be right that she was the one to hold the bronze medal, and they should be appealing that in order to make that correction. China came in second in the total medal race with 91, winning 27 silver and 24 bronze. Japan was a distant third with 20 gold medals, 45 overall. Great Britain won 65 medals, but only 14 were gold for an overall ranking of 7th. The last time the U.S. didn't top the standings in gold medals was at the Beijing Olympics in 2008, where the Americans finished second to China 48-36. The U.S. has won the most overall medals in 8 consecutive Summer Games. The last time the Americans failed to top the medal leaderboard was the Barcelona Olympics in 1992. The unified team featured athletes from ex-Soviet republics won both the most golds at 45 and total medals at 112, while the Americans were second in both categories with 37 golds and 108 medals. The U.S. had been battling with China for the lead in the gold medals the past several days, and entered Sunday, the final day of competition, trailing China 39-38. China picked an early gold medal Sunday when Li Wenwen won the top medal in the women's 81-plus kilogram weightlifting. The U.S. followed with gold when Jennifer Valente defended her women's Omnium title in cycling track. It then came down to women's basketball, where the U.S. won gold for the 8th consecutive games. And I don't want to just glance over that. Shout out to the women's USA basketball team for winning their 8th consecutive games in the Olympic finals. Something that has not been done before and probably will not be done again. That just goes to show the dominance of not just USA basketball, but in particular women's basketball, for sure. So shout out to those girls for doing a phenomenal job. We love to see it. 3 years ago at the Tokyo Olympics, the U.S. beat China with 39 gold medals to 38. The U.S. won 113 overall medals in Tokyo. The Americans were far more dominant at the Rio Olympics in 2016 when they won 46 gold medals to 27 for Great Britain and 26 for China. So just a little background history on some of the recent feats in the Olympics. And last but not least, definitely want to give one final shout out to Team USA for capturing 40 gold medals and accumulating the most total medals of the entire 2024 Summer Olympics. So we love to see that from our American players. So on the men's basketball side, the biggest storylines of this season. In 16 days of competition, the best players from around the world participated in some of the most exciting games of basketball. From France's upset win over Canada in the knockout rounds to Nikola Jokic leading Serbia to its first medal since 2016. And we definitely want to give a shout out to the entire country of France for hosting this Olympics. And on the men's basketball side, we definitely have seen teams come a long way as far as talent-wise. There are players on that French national team. Forgive me for not remembering his name. But there is players from that French national team who are getting some serious NBA consideration, considering their performance against the USA team. So, with that being, that just goes to show you the level of talent that is not only on the French side, but other national teams as well. Shout out to Serbia. Shout out to Germany. There were a couple of games during this Olympics where a lot of people felt like the men's USA basketball team might not win. A lot of close victories. A lot of games came down to a couple of plays at the end, but luckily the men's were able to get the gold nonetheless. Team USA superstar team completed a dominant Olympic run on Saturday by defeating France 98-87 in the final matchup to claim its 17th gold medal. As the 2024 Olympics come to an end, let's take a look at our insider's thoughts on some of the biggest NBA storylines for men's basketball. So Steph Curry did his thing, guys. If you were watching this Olympic Games, I don't have to tell you that Steph Curry was playing absolutely out of his mind. The final few minutes of Team USA's gold medal game against host Team France provided a moment all too familiar to Golden State Warriors and Curry fans everywhere. In a back-and-forth game that came down to the fourth quarter, the United States' double-digit lead shrank to just 3 points with 3 minutes to go in the game. Curry knocked down 4 straight threes, including a signature pull-up three that sealed the win and prompted him to pull out his night-night celebration. And guys, the signature pull-up three over Victor Wembanyama, I'm not going to lie, that picture where he shot the ball over 7'5" Victor Wembanyama, that picture right there, I need that picture in my house. That is an all-time great classic sports photo of all time, because not only did he shoot it over somebody who was taller than him, Victor Wembanyama is also a lot younger than him. So it goes to show you kind of like the era of basketball in which we live in. We have the Curry era, and some people feel like Victor Wembanyama may be that next person to take over the NBA. So that picture right there is definitely something that is going to be iconic for years to come, and just incredible seeing Steph Curry play at this level regardless of the competition, and the way he's able to just basically shoot over anybody regardless of height is phenomenal. Like, that's just something that we haven't seen a lot, so definitely want to give a shout out to him. Curry struggled early on in the Olympics, scoring only 12 points through the first 4 games, but showed up when it mattered most, scoring 36 points against Serbia in the semifinals and 24 on Saturday, including 12 straight to secure the gold medal. And that just goes to show you that Steph Curry is one of those players where even when they have some moments where they may be appearing to struggle scoring wise, you got to keep them in the game. You got to keep them involved. You got to consistently draw plays to get them good looks, open shots at the baskets, off-ball screens, pin downs, things like that in order to create those looks, because shooters got to shoot. And Steph Curry just showed the world in this Olympics that even though he may have some minor struggles in the game, he's going to show up when it counts. And for that reason, he was able to get his starting playing time. In his first Olympics, Curry was playing with an elevated sense of joy, something that hasn't been seen in the past few NBA seasons. And we as fans love to see it. We love to see players who are the greatest in the world compete in their sports and possess a sense of joy with the sport, and that the audience can really feed off that joy, and it can be a very memorable experience. With the 2024-25 NBA season right around the corner, the Warriors can only hope the revitalized energy of their veteran guard carries over their franchise as they start a new era without Klay Thompson. Now, more than ever, the Warriors' success rides on the shoulders of Curry and how he can galvanize the troops. And guys, I'm going to let you know right now, if Steph Curry is playing like this when the season comes up, I'm not going to count out the Warriors for an NBA championship. Whether they have Klay Thompson or not, they still have Steph Curry, they still have Steve Kerr, they still have Draymond, they still have a bunch of other pieces that they've been accumulating in draft picks and such and so forth, to where, hey, this team could be a playoff team for sure. I mean, I think there's no doubt they'll be a playoff team, but the Warriors is definitely a team that could make a deep playoff run, and you could expect them to be in the finals for sure. So now moving on to Victor Wembanyama's Dominic Olympic tournament, and we all know it will not be his last. Wembanyama's first foray into Olympics didn't end the way the 20-year-old wanted. As he walked off the court on Saturday night in Paris, he did so with tears in his eyes. It was the biggest game of his young career, a chance to bring the gold medal to his home country while playing on home soil against Team USA. One of the greatest collections of talent ever assembled. Was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the NBA Rookie of the Year, and France came up just a bit short. Wembanyama did everything he could. He averaged 15.8 points, 9.8 rebounds, 3.3 assists, 2 steals, and 1.7 blocks per game, but could not crack the dominant USA team. But Wembanyama's opportunity to reach the gold medal match again will come soon enough. He will be 24 by the time Los Angeles Olympics roll around, and the young French talent will continue to grow in the NBA until then. France coach Vincent Collet proved he was willing to do whatever it took to get the gold. Rudy Gobert, the NBA's reigning and 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, was dealing with a finger injury and played just 21 minutes in France's final 3 games, also a result of Collet's decision to move to a smaller lineup. Now, I know a lot of people have been kind of talking bad about Rudy Gobert because this is a player who, in the NBA playoffs, he had took some time off due to the birth of his child, and a lot of people gave him a lot of flack because it wasn't like he took time off to be in the hospital and that's it, like to spend time with his spouse and kid. He had took an extra day off after the child was already born, just to kind of sit in the house and relax and soak up everything he had just been through, which a lot of people kind of questioned that decision. A lot of people felt like after the baby's born and you check on the spouse and everybody's good and healthy, then at that point, most players would probably decide to join the team and go back into training and whatnot. But they criticized Rudy's decision to take extra time after the child was born. And, that's between him and the team. And for that reason, a lot of people have really been feeling like the Defensive Player of the Year decision was a bit unjustified, especially since there were players in the league who definitely show better defensive statistics, and there's never really been a series there's never really been a playoff series where we could look at and say, oh my God, Rudy Gobert was the reason why his team was so sound defensively. Like, don't get me wrong, he's a great defensive player, like a great off-ball defender, like definitely somebody who can help you defensively, a great help side defender. But when it comes to one-on-one matchups and like taking somebody isolated on the court, nah, I wouldn't put him in that category. But you know, it's not up to me. So, will there be a France-USA trilogy in Los Angeles? Wembanyama led France in points, rebounds, and assists this summer. If he continues on the dominant path he showed in his rookie season, the results in 4 years might be different. And I definitely will be excited to see the Olympics in 2028. I think France will be a lot stronger. I think a lot of these teams, Germany, Serbia, will be a lot stronger. But at the same time, I believe Team USA will be a lot stronger. So it'll be a lot of competition and definitely something that's going to be fun to watch. So now moving to Devin Booker and his role. A perennial all-star, but just a two-time All-NBA pick, Phoenix Suns guard Devin Booker found himself as part of Coach Steve Kerr's crunch time lineup alongside MVPs Curry, Kevin Durant, and LeBron James. Kerr highlighted Booker's key role after winning gold. Quote, Devin Booker was incredible. He completely changed his role from the NBA to now, Kerr said. He was kind of our unsung MVP. Normally a high scorer, Booker averaged 11.7 points per game at the Olympics, fewer than USA reserve Anthony Edwards. Yet Edwards' role faded in the medal rounds when he played just 23 combined minutes compared to Booker's 52. Not only did Booker serve as Team USA's primary perimeter defender in the gold game, he spaced the floor by shooting 3 of 23 on threes, which is around 57%. That might not translate to the NBA, where Booker will inevitably be asked by new Suns coach Mike Budenholzer to spend more of his energy creating shots. But if the addition of point guard Tyus Jones can move Booker to more of an off-ball role after he averaged a career-high 6.3 assists per game last season, it could help Booker lift his efficiency to the level we saw in Paris. And I think one of the main reasons why Steve Kerr and the men's USA basketball coaching staff decided to start Devin Booker and give him more playing time over a player such as Anthony Edwards was basically comes down to experience, leadership. Devin Booker has been in playoff situations before, finals appearances. You know, this is somebody who can give you elite defense and also hit down clutch shots. I mean, no offense to Anthony Edwards. He's a great defender, great shooter, but Devin Booker just has a little bit more experience over him. He's becoming a seasoned veteran at this time. You know, he's getting close to approaching his 10th year in the NBA. So this is a player you definitely want on the floor at all times. So moving on to the women's side of things. This is how the U.S. women's basketball beat France to win Olympic gold. France led by as many as 10 points in the second half over the heavily favored United States women's basketball team with the Olympic gold medal on the line. The home country crowd was going completely insane. The play was brutally physical, the stakes were high, and history was on the line. The Americans rallied to take the lead, but the game's outcome was going to come down to the final second. And by a single point, the Americans battled through one of the toughest games they have faced at the Olympics. They won their 8th consecutive gold medal dating back to the 1996 games, winning 67-66. It's the most consecutive Olympic titles for any nation in basketball, women's or men's. Just inches prevented overtime. France's Gabby Williams, a former UConn Husky star, banked in a shot from just inside the arc as time expired. The Americans have rarely had to sweat out an outcome in the Olympics, especially during their winning streak that reached 61 games Sunday. In that stretch, they previously had played just 2 games decided by single digits, a 4-point win over Russia in the 2004 semifinals, and a 9-point victory over Nigeria in 2020 group play. But a day after watching their men's team battle Team USA to the end, the French women got even closer to winning what would have been a triumph for the ages, relying on defense and 19 U.S. turnovers, some forced, some sloppy mistakes, and some uncharacteristic cold shooting from the Americans. The French held Team USA to its lowest point in total in an Olympic final. It was also the first time the Americans have ever played a game decided by 1 point in the Olympics. It was also the first time the Americans have ever played a game decided by 1 point in the Olympics. In the end, that 1 point was golden again for Team USA. Here is how the U.S. women beat France. The Americans' offensive execution and flow were non-existent in stretches against France's pressure, and oftentimes they weren't sharp enough or were flat out sloppy, attempting poor passes and failing to secure defensive rebounds, even when Team USA managed to get off shots. It missed ones it normally makes, particularly around the rim, perhaps an indicator that the players were tired. When France started to hit its shots early in the third quarter to go up by 10, it felt like the U.S. might be in real trouble. The Americans trailed for 7 minutes and 57 seconds in the second half after never trailing in the second half the entire tournament. The Americans have the deepest pool of talent in the world, and Reeve ultimately showed she had faith in that depth. That and Asia Wilson being the best player in the women's hoops right now is what won this game. Well, that is going to do it for this episode of the Good Game Podcast. Make sure if you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you get notified anytime we drop a new episode. Until next time, peace.